Yeah.
Lo que están a punto de ver no tiene nombre aún. Nuestro objetivo, derrocar los límites éticos, morales y sensoriales para crear una nueva categoría, solamente apta para los más desinhibidos o aquellos que no le tengan miedo a las consecuencias.
Buenas tardes, señorita. ¿Encontró todo lo que buscaba?
Hey, what's going on, people? This is Spiderman here with another film review, and this time I'm reviewing a horror anthology from Mexico. Yes, I'm reviewing the Mexican anthology film Mexico Barbaro 2. I hadn't seen the first one, but I knew about this film series. I know it's an anthology, sort of like VHS or maybe Creep Show, kind of like that. But this film is about 8 stories, and they all kind of revolve around these weird Mexican traditions, Mexican directors, you know, Mexican writers. So I thought it was very interesting, and kind of like the whole ABCs of Death stories. Those stories were like based on each letter of the alphabet. So here we have, I think, 8 stories. So let's talk about. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I thought were kind of different to me. I'm not going to talk about every story in the film. So the first one is called La Leyenda de Juan Soldado. So this film is about this guy. He gets captured by these bad guys, and so this is sort of turns into like a revenge film. We're out in the desert, and there's a very cool effects in this film, I thought, and you have all this kind of the Dia de los Muertos kind of vision, kind of style to it. It was pretty cool, but I think this one could have been better if the story would have evolved into something else. Now, there's another story in here which I thought was pretty funny, and it revolves around this family, and the dad is kind of like this bad, abusive guy, and they have like this sort of like plan to like get dispose of him or get rid of him, and they make like this pozole made with a certain type of ingredient. And yeah, I thought this one was pretty dark humor, all dark humor in there. It was pretty funny, entertaining. Now, the one that I thought was the one that stood out the most was the last story. And the last story, I think, is called Exodoncia. And it's about this girl who she's a heroin addict, and she she really does anything to get her fix. She's a junkie, and you see her go through the town, through the city, and she keeps having these weird visions, man, like these very weird fantasies. And I think the drugs make her see, or I think uh make her stop from seeing these fantasies. I'm not sure, because this film is really visual, and the story doesn't seem to go anywhere. The story is not really there. They could have another one that could have been more developed story wise, but out of all the stories in this film, this one is certainly the most brutal, the most visual one, and I thought it was pretty different, to be honest. And I think a lot of people that see this will probably agree with me. Was also directed by the same guy who directed Atrocious, if you guys seen that movie. So it's kind of in that style of film. If you guys are familiar with that film, so you kind of know what to expect from this director. And yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag at the end of the day. This film has most of the films or most of the stories in this film are not that good. They kind of seem half-assed, like they didn't really finish them, or like they didn't seem complete, you know. And that's the problem with a lot of these anthology films, that they come off like they weren't really, you know, supposed to be done like that. Like they were halfway done, half-assed. So at the end of the day, I would still recommend this film for the three stories that I thought were pretty good. Um, but yeah, I'd still say it's a very average. I would say a sort slightly above average anthology film. And at the end of the day, I give it a 6 out of 10. It could have been way better. I mean, like, also the same case with VHS. It could have been, the stories could have been developed way better. It could have had better writing, but it was still a fun film. You know, a fun project that these people did. And I still look forward to the first one. Maybe the first one's better. I don't know. But when I get a chance to check out Mexico Barbaro 1, I'll check it out. But yes, that's what I thought about Mexico Barbaro 2. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. All right, peace.